On this episode, we're going to talk about WWE's latest NXT invasion, which was really good. And, of course, the aftermath, what happened in Crown Jewel. Well, we're not going to talk about the event, but the aftermath. We're also going to talk about Week 6 on the Wednesday Night War and many others. So, get yourself some candy and welcome to Deleted WrestleZone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up. 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 Get up, get up.
All right, Nico.
Yeah.
What is your initial thoughts of the NXT invasion on both Raw and SmackDown?
This week was really good. Good move on NXT and the WWE universe. How they went with first NXT going to SmackDown, which is actually quite clutch considering that a lot of their talent was stuck in Saudi Arabia. So it was kind of like the stars aligned for something that for a bad situation, they turned lemonade out of lemons, basically.
Yeah.
With this, and then continued it on with the Raw coming to NXT and firing back. Got a lot of eyes on that show.
You know, this kind of thing kind of reminds me back with the Alliance.
Yes.
With WCW and ECW. I mean, it's like, it's nothing to compare, but it's brought back to those memories where we saw, okay, another group is making an initial attack on WWE, and now we're seeing that again because right now WWE is stepping into the Survivor Series pay-per-view. So basically, they want to get NXT involved. You know, because I know they haven't done any takeover events this year because from what I understood, during the start of NXT being on the USA Network, they're not going to do no takeovers throughout the entire year. But I think they want to give a little bit more exposure to NXT. But making the decision to have them in SmackDown I have to say, was pretty genius.
Yeah.
You know, which kind of gave a bit more of exposure. And we'll explain that one when we talk about the Wednesday Night War.
Right.
So let's jump into the aftermath in Crown Jewel. Now, we were aware during SmackDown that there were still some superstars stuck in Saudi Arabia. Now, officially, WWE said there was mechanical failure. And we're saying, okay, if that's the case, not a big deal. But Hugo Sovanovic, this former WWE Spanish commentator,
yes,
he wasn't buying it. He actually has contacts still with WWE and Saudi Arabia, and they told him that it didn't happen that way, the way they're being told. He received word that there was a dispute between both Vince and the Crown Prince.
Oh, yeah, it was about money.
Basically, what was going on is that Saudi Arabia hasn't paid Vince for the last two events they've done over there. And, of course, Vince decided to cut off the TV feed down in Saudi Arabia. And it was about maybe 45 minutes to an hour that it was cut. There were fans from Saudi Arabia that were tweeting about this. Now, here's the part that gets really messed up. They're saying that all the talents who were in the plane were being asked to get out. And Vince was nowhere to be found. He already took off in his private plane.
Vince, Brock,
and his staff, Hulk Hogan, and Jimmy Hart, and Ric Flair. And there was reports coming in saying that 20 wrestlers somehow were able to charter a flight out. I don't know the whole lot who were the 20, but I do know it was Roman Reigns, Shinsuke Nakamura, and I think I lost somewhere around those two. But there were still those that were still unhappy how this thing was turned on. You probably heard Carl Anderson's wife saying that they were being held hostage there, and that She doesn't want him to go back.
Right.
Which was the initial thought. I mean, I know there were people who were saying that this was a bad idea from the start. You know, building a business relationship with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
You know, because the thing is this: I know people would visit there only on how to say, on invitation.
Right.
But doing business, that's a different story. You know, and of course, now that they're saying they're denying what happened with their, like, the 175 superstars, the crew, and whoever else was part of the company, that all of that didn't happen. I mean, we all know they're trying to save their own butts on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Try to make sure, oh, it's a good place, don't worry, because they don't want to lose their reputation. Like, right now, everybody people are starting to see, come on, Vince, you know that's what happened. And, of course, we all heard, if you heard this, Seth Rollins gave, like, an awkward rah-rah speech.
Yeah.
He's denying that ever happened. Because I think if it was denied, I think it was awkward. No doubt about that. But you tell us what you think. Was this a mistake to go to Saudi from the beginning? Do you really think that Vince was dumb enough to leave his staff, whoever was left behind, was a dumb move? Leave a comment down below, and we'll get back on that. Because I would like to know what's everybody's thoughts on this stupid matter that happened. So, let's move on to the Wednesday Night War. Well, we just entered and finished on week 6 on the Wednesday Night War. Now, should we start with the ratings? Because I think people ought to hear this one.
Sure.
All right, so here's the views that happened. Drumroll, please. AEW got 822 views. 822,000 views. My bad. NXT, 8,013,000 views. Which is not bad. And you and I can agree the only reason their views are like this was their exposure in Raw and SmackDown.
Easily.
Now, don't get me wrong. We have always did say that NXT is a great product to watch. We're not going to lie about that. We're not going to deny that. But the winners of the Week 6 is AEW still.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's talk about what went down with NXT. It opened up with the Undisputed Era being attacked by the OCs. Amazing opening. Because I think maybe it was like expecting that somewhere between Raw or SmackDown, someone's going to take the initial attack.
Oh, yeah.
It turned out to be the OCs. And then they showed up in the ring, as always, making their presence known, because none of those guys actually went to NXT. And then
they went straight to
the main roster. And then we have Tommaso Ciampa coming out, saying he has bigger balls. But later he had 2 new allies that had much bigger balls, issued a challenge against the OCs. And those guys were Matt Riddle, the original Bro, and Keith Lee.
Yes.
So we'll get to that match in a little later. But let's start up with the first match they had was Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest.
I like that match. The match was fire. I actually caught that match, I think a little bit after, later in the night. It was really should have been the main. That had like main event feel right there.
Yeah, I mean, it was the main event once before in the first encounter those two had.
Yeah, that's true.
But now this is like more Pete Dunne wants to have a retribution. How things toned down. If you didn't see the last one, they had Damian Priest got away with it by giving Pete Dunne the low blow. And of course, Pete Dunne played his game too.
Oh, yeah.
Which was kind of great because it showed him that he wasn't going to tolerate his tricks. So he's like saying, you're going to try this again with me, I'll try it with you.
It's a good build up to a rubber match for the upcoming TakeOver.
Yeah. But the end of the match, when Pete Dunne won, we had a surprise attack.
Oh, yeah, with
Killian Dane.
Killian Dane.
It's still unclear what his Killian Dane's motives are.
I think he's just out there just attacking people.
But the problem is this, he was still targeting Pete Dunne from the start. The question is, why is he still targeting him? Even though when after that 1 week when Pete Dunne was at NXT, they asked him what his thoughts were. He had no care in the world for Killian Dane. I think he feels like Killian Dane is not even in my radar. But it's like, but Killian Dane wants to be in his radar.
It was like when he was attacking Riddle for a while.
Yeah. So basically, it's still unclear what he's doing. But I do see that there could be a possible rivalry between both Dunne and Dane on this one. So we just got to wait and see, because if it is going to go to that direction between Dane and Dunne, then that's going to be an epic rivalry.
Yes.
Let's move on to a women's match. We have your favorite, Tayana.
Oh, yeah.
Versus Santana Garrett. And to be honest, I was finally happy to see Santana Garrett be on TV, because if you guys don't know her reputation precedes her. I mean, she does made a good impression on NXT, but your girl took the win. I mean, what's your thoughts on this one?
It's about time, because like she's been catching L's lately with the last few matches that she had. There was like a small botch in the match, but that that happens. Something like that happens.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I've learned is that like it's not necessarily the botch you have to look at how they the recovery of the botch. Like how they're what it is that they're able to salvage that. That's what I like to see, is like, so yeah, you messed up. Like how are you gonna pick yourself up after it? Like,
Yeah. All right. Then we had another women's match. This one was with Shayna Baszler versus Dakota Kai.
This was the first Shayna Baszler match that I didn't fast forward, because normally I fast forward her matches because I already know she's gonna win. She's being booked to win. But kind of thought that because the title was not on the line, that Dakota Kai might win, and nah, she didn't.
But it's the aftermath that got our attention. Where you see the horsewomen showed up attacking. Here comes Knox, LeRae, Ripley. They were being attacked by Io Shirai and Bianca Belair, but out of nowhere you got Mia Yin with the kendo stick.
Yeah.
Which was crazy how it turned out.
Yeah.
But this save was what got my attention. Ripley made the decision to have Mia Yin to be part of her team. Kind of excluding out Dakota Kai on this one.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know what was the intentions. I know Mia Yin has her issues towards Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
So basically,
it doesn't.
Basically, it's more like you got some women who have issues with Shayna Baszler, and then you got Io Shirai and Bianca Belair. They will not stand for Ripley getting in the way, saying that you lost, so get back in the line. But Ripley saying, I did not tap out, I wasn't pinned. So basically, it's like saying, in an interest in fairness, I'm still in the game. So basically, they're too blind not to see that the match she had with Baszler didn't took any effect. So basically, she's trying to fight to prove a point. If they can't see that, then I have to fight for it.
Pretty much.
So I like the angle on this one, but we just got to see what's going to happen during the War Games, because it's going to be interesting seeing for the first time a women's war game. So let's see what's going to go with that. And then we have I don't know if you fast forwarded this one, the number one contendership for the NXT Cruiserweight.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so in case you're wondering, Angel Garza won.
Yeah, he won.
And of course, he slapped Leo Rush.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, Angel Garza, if you guys don't know who he is, I've seen him down in the Metzing promotions. He has that same cockiness. Basically, he thinks he's going to win, that he knows he's going to win, that type of thing. So we just got to wait and see with that match next week. That's going to take place. This one will be for the Cruiserweight title. And I think we have Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Dominic Dijakovic. I don't know if you fast forward that one.
Actually, I didn't even catch it. I was watching it on Hulu, and
it was a great match.
And I guess they just took it out.
It was a great match. Dominic Dijakovic won that one. Then we get to the main event. the OCs versus Ciampa, Lee, and Riddle.
It's just OC.
OC, yeah. OC. It's like we were seeing two dominant forces fighting back and forth. But of course, you saw the botch by Riddle.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, couldn't believe what I just saw. But all of a sudden, it ended with no contest.
Mm-hmm.
Lee accidentally hit. Who was it?
The
I know there wasn't he didn't get the ref. It was the one person that
yeah.
bumped into him. I don't know if it was an Anderson.
I think it was Anderson.
I think it was Anderson.
Yeah.
It turned out to be a no contest. But we saw who came out later.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the Prince,
Yeah.
Finn Balor. And then we saw what he did. Like, we don't know what was this about because you saw...
See, but also Adam Cole came out as well, so we're not sure where Finn Balor will side with. Will he go with the Undisputed Era, or will he go with the club?
It's still like an open discussion because if you guys know, I also follow another group.
Mm-hmm.
This was something that is out in the open. The Square Circle Cycle Babble, if you guys don't know his, we're talking about this. It's still unclear because we don't know what is Finn Balor trying to do.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's going to line himself with the OC or with the Undisputed Era. But in my personal opinion, I feel like Balor has a hidden agenda that he doesn't want to play out just yet.
Mm.
Basically, if you guys are playing poker, you can tell he's up to something.
Right.
We don't know if he has the full deck just yet.
Mm.
I think he's holding on to that deck, trying to until he's ready to reveal his cards. Like, we already know the cards between both the OC and the Undisputed Era.
Mm.
But what is Finn Balor's game here?
He's got Marty and Flip.
But behind the scenes, I did talk that he said he has his eyes set for the Authors of Pain to join.
Oh, that is true.
But it's still undetermined whether if they'll be able to come back from the main roster. So we just got to wait and see what is Finn Balor's true intentions and what direction this is going to go with. You know, because there are those are talking saying that maybe Finn Balor is forming his new stable faction, but more of the Bullet Club concept with a different name. So
Finn Balor aligning with Authors of Pain makes more sense. Not just the look, but ever since the AOP turned on Michael Eldridge, they lost their mouthpiece. They're not really that good on the mic. They don't have that talking charisma. Whereas Finn Balor not only has the talking charisma, but he has like that leadership to actually bring AOP's stock up higher.
Mm-hmm.
So good for them, good for him, and good for everyone.
Yeah. So we just gotta wait and see where this is gonna go with, because it would be interesting to see those two aligning with Finn. So stay tuned for that. Now let's talk about AEW Dynamite.
Ooh.
It opened up with the Bastard, Pac
Yeah.
versus Trent. I don't know.
That was a dope ass match. That I would like to see Trent as a singles competitor. He's always been a tag team. One of my favorite of his tag teams is Roppongi Vice, of course,
With Rocky Romero.
I just it was a good match. Good way.
I have to say that they made something right on this one with Trent, because we have seen over the years there have been tag teams that are either good as a tag team, or you can do things both ways with being a single competitor or an attack team. And Trent Beretta actually kind of proved it, that he can actually hold his own as a single competitor. I mean, I hope this won't be the last time we see him as a single competitor.
The ref botched the finish.
Yeah, definitely. That someone needs to slap him in the face.
Yeah.
Then we move on to the Cody promo.
Some good ass promo.
I know people were talking about this all over social media.
Yes.
And we heard the props that he got from The Rock and Jim Cornette. which is very great. And I think people said that maybe this is also the reason they won the night.
Oh, yeah.
So, because it did sound like something of a good quality of a promo. They say that this is not scripted.
Yeah.
They just went with it. Which is something that I think it's what makes AEW unique.
Yeah.
You have... WWE has like 40 writers to do this crap, you know? And AEW doesn't want to do that. They want to say, let's just go with the flow with it. Now, then we have a tag team match. I don't know if you saw this one.
Which one is it?
Private Party versus the Dark Order.
Yeah, I watched it. Not really that big fan of the Dark Order. I'm actually glad Private Party got the win.
Yeah, and then you did see the Lucha Brothers go to the Spanish commentary.
Yeah.
And you see SCU with the commentary with Shivani, Ross, and Excalibur. So basically everybody wants to have their opinion on who may be the third competitor to be at the Full Gear event, who will be competing for the tag team titles. But I was hoping for Private Party.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they have demonstrated night after night what they can do.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, the fans began to open to them, you know. Which is great for them to finally make getting a good push.
Yeah.
So we'll just see what's going to happen in Full Gear. So for Full Gear, we have, for the AEW tag team titles, we have
Triple Threat.
SCU, Kazarian, and Sky versus the Lucha Brothers versus Private Party. I don't know. I feel like I'm a bias on this one. How about you?
Three of my favorite tag teams right now. I really have no bias on this one. I'd be happy with any of them winning as long as it's not a short one.
Yeah. Or make it a long epic match.
Yes, as long as they all get their high spots in.
Yeah. All right. So later we have a Chris Jericho promo. I don't know what you thought of that one.
That shit was hilarious.
Not to mention the way he gets Sammy Guevara right in the head.
That shit is hilarious. That what's his name? Virgil. Virgil's new name?
Soul Train Jones.
Soul Train Jones. Ah, that's a good one. I like that.
And not to mention Jake Hager just staring at the camera.
Oh, man.
They call him the Big Hurt. I have to say, this is something I don't think any promotion would have thought of.
No, that's all Chris Jericho's, all in from his crazy ass head.
Yeah. So I have to say, they're throwing some good promos at this promotion, don't you think?
Yeah.
So you give us your thoughts on this one. What you guys thought of the promo with Chris Jericho?
I think they kind of went hard with the promos this week because there was like talks on the internet world that AEW stars, except for their obvious top stars, have hard times doing promos. And then this episode, they kind of was going to shut up the naysayers on that one.
Yeah. All right, let's jump in with the women's tag team. We had Jamie Hayter teaming with Emi Sakura.
Oh, that was a good one.
Versus the new wrestler, Shauna.
Yeah,
and the current AEW Women's Champion, Rio.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts on this one?
Actually, now that I think about it, I actually did watch a lot of AEW. For some reason, I think it's because I fast forward through all the commercials, making me think that's what it really was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Emmy. I like that Emmy finally got over because we haven't actually seen a lot of. We hear a lot about how Emmy's a veteran, but we haven't really seen what kind of damage she can do.
Well, you got to remember, if you guys know this, Emi Sakura runs a promotion down in Thailand.
Oh yeah.
Ghetto Move Pro Wrestling.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She originally was the founder of the Japanese Yoshi promotion, Ice Ribbon, but she stepped down from that and moved to Thailand to start her own promotion. So basically, she's cutting time between running this promotion and also, I'm assuming, if she still trains new wrestlers.
Yes.
That's one of the things, because we don't know how her schedule is and how it's conflicting between that or her participation with AEW.
Right.
So we can't say it's anybody's fault. We just know that people do things outside of when they're not on AEW. But the one thing we are surprised we're going to see a match between student and teacher at Full Gear. We're talking about Emi Sakura, who is once the teacher of Rio.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be like one of those matches like, okay, let's see what this student has. How far has she progressed from the last time they trained together?
And then another thing that I noticed with Hater and Shauna, were they on the same? No, they weren't on the same team.
No, they were opposite.
They were opposite. But Shauna and Amy, they displayed really good tag team chemistry. I was noticing with Hater calling out to Amy, saying the spots, and Shauna was doing pretty good, just being out there. Like she displayed.
You know, I was happy to hear that Shauna is now fully with AEW.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she did gave a good impression a week ago.
Oh yes.
During her match with Hikaru Shida.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about Jamie Hayter, like if she's going to be with AEW full time or what. You know, because I haven't heard anything yet about if she's going to be part of it.
There has to be something with Hater because
here's the thing, Hater's also with Stardom as well.
Well, yeah.
So because I know that the AEW are trying to fill up the women's roster.
Yeah. They have to do something with Hater because the whole thing with Brandy, they can't they could. I'm just saying
but they still haven't done the explanation why she attacked her to begin with. Like, what was her beef with her? It's still I was
still to come.
I was like hoping that Brandy was going to attack Hater at the end of the match or something.
No, she just cut another cryptic promo.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to Shawn Spears versus Brandon Cutler.
I like that match.
Mm-hmm. And it shows, like the same old thing, Palpatine, Vader type of scenario.
Yeah.
Which was pretty good. I like that whole thing with Tully being advisor to Shawn Spears, trying to tell him what to do and also try to help him out when the ref is not looking outside.
I really like that match because Spears didn't just squash the shit out of him at all. It was he actually was like the new guy learning the ropes with the veteran. There's a lot of that dynamic.
Yeah. But later after the match, when Spears won this, he was about to take out Cutler, and out of nowhere, here comes Joey Janela. Now, if you guys wondering why the Joey Janela showed up, simple question. A week ago during the AEW Dark, Tully Blanchard hasn't forgotten about what happened a few weeks ago, where Joey Janela put his cigarette on his drink.
That's right.
So basically, last week on the AEW Dark, it was filmed last week, but they showed it this past Tuesday. He hasn't forgotten what he did.
Right.
So they got their little retribution. And of course, Joey Janela will not let that go. But it's confirmed that those two will face off at Full Gear. So it will be an interesting match to see. Then we go with the main event. Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho facing Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. I mean, the match was great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie about that. Of course, going back and forth, who has the upper hand, of course. But the end of it, we always see how it's going to end. Jericho having his muscle do his dirty work. But that's how they got me interested. Of course, after the match when Jericho and Guevara won, they continue the beatdown. Then we see Cody shows up, who still has his unfinished business with Jericho. And then out of nowhere, we see people coming all over the place. You got Pac attacking Hangman, which we all know they have a separate feud.
Yeah.
Then we see Moxley, the same thing with his barbed wire bat.
Yes.
And Kenny with his barbed wire broom. And then here, Proud and Powerful interrupting the party.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got different feuds that are already set for full gear in one brawl. Which, I don't know if WWE ever's done that before.
During the Attitude Era, yes. Like
But how many so far? There was like, let's see, we already have Cody and Jericho. We have the Bucks and Proud and Powerful, Hangman Page and Pac, Kenny Omega and Moxley. Like 4 different feuds in the same brawl.
Yeah, WWE used to do that on a Raw right before any Big Four. It'll be like especially if it's right before a Big Four. Raw would like they'll have like and then here comes the Undertaker, and then here goes, and then they'll basically show like the whole thing like we can't wait till this segment on the next SummerSlam, like with the JR voice.
Yeah, so it was a great ending with the brawl. I had to say I liked it, the way it turned, and you see Nick jumping out of that top thing where the entrance.
Oh yeah,
that was crazy. But of course, this feud is far from over.
Oh yes.
So we just gotta see what's gonna happen this Saturday at Full Gear. I know everybody is currently in Baltimore, getting ready to do that. They're doing the StarCast. So as you know, we already announced Emi Sakura versus Rio for the AEW Women's title. The triple threat match for the tag team titles involving our current champions, SCU versus the Lucha Brothers versus Private Party, Joey Janela versus Sean Spears, Hangman Page versus Pac, John Moxley versus Kenny Omega in a lights out match, Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful, and I'm trying to think of anybody else. Okay, for the buy-in, I do know that Bea Priestley and Britt Baker will square off. I don't know if there's going to be other matches, but this is going to be an interesting pay-per-view to see. I probably won't be able to see it, but I will follow it throughout Twitter, because I always follow things on Twitter.
Pretty much.
So we just got to wait to see what's going to happen this Saturday. So you guys tell us what you think. If you have any predictions for Full Gear, leave a comment down below. And then hopefully by the time we get to the next episode, we'll talk about it.
Marty Scurll comes in and joins Inner Circle.
Or he continues with Villain Enterprise.
That'd be crazy. Dude.
Yeah. So that's it for this segment on the Wednesday Night War. Let's continue on with the show. All right, Nico, we're in your favorite subject.
That New Japan life.
All right. So we just had Power Struggle. What are your initial thoughts on this one? On this year's Power Struggle?
Hiromu's back.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a bit. So let's start with let's just try to fast forward a bit with the. We had like a 8-man tag team, which is Connor, Clark, TJP, and Titan and Vola the one.
Yeah.
So we got Taiji Shimuri and El Fantasma 1 beat against Chaos, Eagles, and Romero. Then we got your boys, L.I.J., Tagagi, Sanada, in Evil versus Suzuki-gun, which they overpowered them. Then we have a special tag team match between Kota Ibushi, Hiroshi Tanahashi, who defeated Okada and Yoshihashi. But this is an interesting thing that happened after the match. Jericho.
Oh yeah, Jericho came out and attacked.
Actually, he didn't attack. He sent a message.
He sent a message
to the Ace himself, Tanahashi. Basically, he wants to end him.
Oh yeah.
Basically, he feels like it's that he's going to end his career one way or another. So basically, Tanahashi, Tanahashi is still that one guy who's trying to find a way to get involved in Wrestle Kingdom, but Jericho kind of laid it out for him.
Yeah.
So I think he wouldn't have a problem with it, but we just got to see what Jericho's going to do at this one at Wrestle Kingdom 14. Then we have a special singles match. Now, this feud began because Tetsuya Naito wants to be the first ever double champion.
Yes.
Tai Chi, who we all seen over time, he felt he's been ignored. He felt that the New Japan officials have overlooked him.
Oh yeah, ever since he made his transition from junior heavyweight to heavyweight.
And now he feels that Naito had his chance to be the double champion, and now he wants to be the guy who, how do I say, gets involved in that.
Yes.
So this match was more like, okay, does Naito still has what it takes to fulfill his destiny to be double champion? Or we're going to see Taichi who's saying, your time is up, it's my time to shine.
Right.
Result? Naito.
Naito won.
So basically he still has his destiny intact. So it was an epic match.
Oh, yeah.
Then we go to the final of the Junior Tag League division, which was crazy.
This is a show in your
Third time in a row, they win this this tournament. Sho and Yo
back to back
of Roppongi 3K of Chaos won for the third time in a row, which was great, you know, because we hardly get to see people win matches like these every year. So Sho and Yo have demonstrated that they have what it takes to be one of the best junior heavyweight tags in the promotion.
So like I said before, any tag team that the Bucks put over is a tag team that you should be paying attention to.
But their party was cut short thanks to the Bullet Club members El Fantasma and Taiji Shimori, which stole their trophies.
So here's my thing about Sho and Yo. Like, I love them. They're awesome. They are great in-ring competitors. But if you were to take a look at the press conference for Wrestle Kingdom 14, their promo against the Bone Soldier, Taiji Shimori, and El Fantasma was kind of weak. Like they just sounded butthurt that they didn't have their trophies. They didn't make a strong their skills on the sticks doesn't match their skills in the ring. But I still love 3K. 3K is pretty dope.
Yeah, so we just got to see what's going to happen because we all know El Fantasma and Taiji say they were robbed during the tournament.
Yeah.
But right now, it's not about that now. We now see Sho and Yo that they have their sights set on those titles and they want them back.
Hands down. And then also Sho also challenged LP for the Rev Pro Cruiserweight Championship in San Jose, I believe.
Yeah. So we gotta hope this is going to happen at Wrestle Kingdom between both the El Fantasma and Taiji Shimori having their titles on the line against Roppongi 3K. So we just gotta wait and see when the announcement is going to happen. But I do have that strong feeling it will happen. Then we move on to
Ospreay and Bushi.
Actually, no, it's Kenta and Ishii, which is for the Never Openweight Championship.
That was an epic match right there.
Kenta, as always, being Kenta. Then we got the Junior Heavyweight Championship, Bushi and Ospreay.
I call this the counter of the decade.
You're talking about the Black Mist.
Yes.
If you guys don't know what happened, if you haven't seen it, Bushi is known to throw in the Black Mist, something similar as the Great Muta. Instead of the red or green mist,
it's
whatever.
Black.
For Muta.
For Muta, it'd be black, green, or red.
Yeah. So we got Bushi who has Black Mist.
Yeah.
So he was about to do the Black Mist on Ospreay.
Yes.
Ospreay was able to cover his mouth with his hand and somehow suck the mist out and put it back in his face.
Yeah.
Basically, he gave Bushi a taste of his own medicine, which was epic. I mean, this was like one of those matches that really elevated the junior heavyweight division, you know, because Ospreay always did say that he wants to reshape it.
Oh, yeah.
And he wasn't lying. You know, he had epic matches this year. You know, and I have to say, him and Bushi on this one is on the top of that list.
Yeah.
But of course, the victory goes to Ospreay as always. So after the match, Ospreay was going around saying that he felt like he'd beaten everyone. Except one. We're talking about the return of the time bomb.
The ticking time bomb.
Hiromu Takahashi.
Takahashi.
Takahashi. He came back after being gone away for over a year from a neck injury that he obtained at the G1 special at the Cow Palace last year.
Against Dragon Lee.
And now he's back. Basically, there's a reason for that. Hiromu never lost the title.
No, not at all.
He wasn't pinned. He wasn't submitted. He had to relinquish the title because of the injury. And now that he's back, he has his eyes set of regaining that title that he never truly lost.
Right.
And of course, Will Ospreay could not pass up the opportunity of this challenge.
Mm-hmm.
He has been the best wrestlers in the division. And Hiromu is that one guy that he has to face. Because he never... was it last year Ospreay and Hiromu in the finals for the best of the Super Juniors? No, it
last
wasn't
year.
No.
It was Hiromu and...
No. I now remember. He was facing Taiji Shimori.
Yeah.
Back then, it was Ospreay who was the champion.
Yeah.
He faced him. Don't remember what. I think it was Dominion.
Hiromu and
Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
The last time they were together, it was in a 4-way at Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Yeah. Well, we'll look it up, but it will be an epic match between those two at Wrestle Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
We just gotta follow up. So this is one of those matches you gotta pay attention to. Then we jump into the main event. This one was for the Intercontinental title between Hiroki Goto versus the Switchblade, Jay White. Initial thoughts on this one?
You know, I love Hiroki Goto, but Switchblade always kills it. Two of the wrestlers, in my opinion, that's been killing it all year is Will Ospreay and Jay White. Jay White's beaten all the legends, and Will is one of the few wrestlers to participate in all the tournaments, both junior and heavyweight divisions. The thing with Jay, what I love about Jay is he creates the hype around the baby faces right now. Mm-hmm. Like without Jay, you can't have Kota Ibushi. Mm-hmm. Without Jay, you can't have Okada's rise from defeat. Without Jay, there's no hype with Naito getting the double champions. And I think with that said, Jay White, the Switchblade, he's like the true heel in the company.
Yeah, he took the victory on this one.
Yes.
But of course, at the end of the match, we still go on with the whole double champion scenario. Mm-hmm. Ospreay wants it, so does Kota Ibushi and Naito. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if Okada's getting a little, annoyed with this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Or he feels like this is a perfect, challenge.
Well, what they've decided to do with Wrestle Kingdom 14, since it's going to be 2 days, they're going to have, of course, Naito versus Jay White for the Intercontinental Championship. And then they're going to have Okada versus Kota Ibushi for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, the winner of both of those matches will be the main event of Night 2 Wrestle Kingdom, January 5th, for Double Champion. And the losers of both of those matches will also be in a special match.
So we just got to pay attention to that when it happens.
Yes.
So we're only, 2 months away from Wrestle Kingdom?
We're less than 2 months.
Yeah. So we'll just pay attention to that.
Yes.
Now, if you all know, New Japan has always done tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that with the best of the Super Juniors,
mm-hmm.
the G1 Climax. Those are like single competitors in both
New
divisions.
Japan Cup.
And then we had just recently the Super Junior Tag League that took place for Power Struggle. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to World Tag League, which is the heavyweight division tag team tournament.
This is to determine who will be the number one contenders at the Wrestle Kingdom.
So they already announced who are participating in this tournament. So let's go through it. We got Tanahashi and Hanare. Makabe Honda, Tenzan and Kojima, Nagata and Nakanishi, Juice and Finlay, Goto and Karl, Ishii and Yoshihashi, Yano and Colt Cabana, Cobb and Mikey, Evil and Sanada, Tagaki and Terrible, Suzuki and Lance, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi, Tama Tonga and Tonga Lao, Kenta and Yujiro, and finally, Fale and Chase. What are your initial thoughts of this?
I want to see Yano and Colt Cabana upset everybody.
Yeah,
Tell the truth. I mean, a lot of my boys are on there, but it'd be funny as hell.
Basically, this is the way he interprets.
Yes.
We have seen Colt Cabana, what he can do in the ring.
Yeah.
As a single competitor.
Yeah.
You've seen the same thing with Yano.
Yeah.
But who would have thought those two would become friends?
Oh man! I think it's a match made in heaven.
Remember
honestly.
what happened at the G1 Supercard,
Mm-hmm.
where Yano was supposed to be at the Honor Rumble,
Mm-hmm.
but instead he gave his spot to Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
But when Colt Cabana was in trouble with Suzuki-gun,
Mm-hmm.
with Suzuki, he calls him like, Yano! And he just runs over there to help him. So basically, they're like the two comedians in both organizations, but they work great together.
Oh yeah, I would love to see them spoil the World Tag League.
So you got to pay attention to this group because you never know what to expect because we've seen Yano pulled upsets at the G1.
Oh, yeah.
So pay attention to everybody who's participating, especially Yano and Cabana. So when does the World Tag League take place?
World Tag League takes place in I think the end of this month. The beginning?
Like, I know they're gonna do the Road to World Tag League or something.
I think it's the Road to New Japan. I mean the Road to Wrestle Kingdom.
Hold on, let me pull it up real quick so people can see. Okay, we got the Super Showdown coming up later on this Saturday. World Tag League will take place starting November 16th. It will go all the way towards December 8th. And from there, we'll keep an eye on who will win the tournament on this one. And then we have the Road to Tokyo Dome, which takes place starting on December 19th all the way to the 21st of December. Then everybody goes on holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, starting January 4th, is Wrestle Kingdom.
4th and 5th.
Yeah, 4th and 5th. So, basically, we got a lot of new things coming up with New Japan, but we got to pay attention to those.
Oh, yeah.
So, that is it for New Japan. So, if you guys like what we talked about, leave a comment, click like, or whatever. Or leave a comment what you guys think of the upcoming World Tag League that's taking place very soon. So, let's keep on moving. All right. As you all know, we've been watching NWA since it first launched. I have to say, this is a unique promotion, as we always. Now we're getting with good things coming out. If you guys want to know what we're talking about, we're seeing good things. Now, you probably heard this. NWA is going to have a video game.
Oh, yeah. That commercial, man. Hey, all right. So, this is what I appreciate about NWA and their show Power. Because it's studio wrestling, they're treating it like a studio TV show. So in between the segments, they have their own commercials. A lot of them with Austin Idol and other hilarious commercials they have. But what I'm referring to is the Nick Aldis video game commercial, which if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's quite hilarious.
It's on the latest episode that came out. But it says it's going to come out for PlayStation 4. I'm definitely going to get it. I'm not gonna ignore it.
Yeah.
So let's jump in with the matches. I know we've been seeing a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Thunder Rosa take on Ashley Voss, which was pretty amazing. If you guys haven't seen Thunder Rosa, she is a great wrestler based out of Texas.
Oh yeah.
And of course, if you guys don't know, she's an actual frenemy of Sammy Guevara.
Thunder Rosa is one of my new favorites right now.
I mean, she's a very unique wrestler. I missed a match that she was in at Baja Stars where she was facing Christy James for the first ever Women's Baja Stars Championship. I missed it because I wanted to ask her a couple questions. But I like how they're going with the direction with her on this one. If you haven't seen during this latest episode, she tried to get Marty Bell to attack Ashley Voss. Like she's trying to
form an alliance. Like,
tell her, come on, kick her. You know you want to. But here's what happened. A week prior to that, the current NWA Women's Champion, Allison Kay, is good friends with Marty Bell, and she said something that kind of disrespected her, saying that she wasn't ready to face her for the title. Marty Bell felt like she was disrespected, like she thought she was her friend, that they were tight. Turns out it wasn't. Allison Kay thought it was dumb of her to act like this is Dr. Phil. But here we go again with Thunder Rosa. Attacks Allison Kay. And this time, she wanted Marty Bell to attack her. And she did. Basically, Thunder Rosa somehow got to her, telling her to join me. I can help you what Allison Kay can't do for you. And I know for a fact the following weeks when Allison Kay is going to question what was it that Thunder Rosa had that forced her to betray her. I mean, come on, you just said it yourself. She wasn't ready. But Thunder Rosa sees a different story. So we just don't know what's going to happen. But this is going to be an interesting rivalry. With the alliance between Thunder Rosa and Marty Bell against Allison Kay. Because I know Allison Kay is going to try to wrap her head on this one, like what's going on. Now let's move in with the mind games with Eli Drake.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you haven't heard before, ever since the start of NWA Power, Eli Drake has his sights set on the 10 pounds of gold. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that's always been his case. So he even had a tag team match with the former NWA World Champion Tim Storm. Try to convince him, saying, "You're not done yet. Don't give up."
Right.
And of course, Nick Aldis was being suspicious about his motives. And what was it? A week ago, in one of the previous episodes, he's trying to convince James Storm that Nick Aldis has been ducking him and Storm at the same time, because he's telling him, as the national heavyweight champion, that he earns the right to face Nick Aldis. Now, they had that match last week where they had a team up. You had Nick Aldis team with Mr. Anderson and Colt Cabana versus Storm and the wild card. If Tim Storm wins, he gets a shot of the title, but he has to vacate the national title. But if Aldis wins, Colt Cabana gets another crack at the title against James Storm, which it was part of this episode.
Okay.
So it was still unclear what was going on with Eli Drake's head. Then we get to a match between more of a rematch, The Man by Aaron Stevens. He wasn't too pleased how the whole match ended with Ricky Stark. He said that he decided to put a traditional match, which something that NWA has been familiarized with. 2 out of 3 falls. And of course, it didn't fall in his favor.
Nah, not at all.
And people are still saying, "You got beat."
Yeah, got beat clean.
I mean, he still thinks he was cheated out, but Ricky Stark, he knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh yeah.
So it was a funny match to watch between those two. And then we jump in with the match between Colt Cabana and James Storm. But the one thing that was a bit more surprising was Eli Drake aligned himself with Storm. Like I said, we don't know what Eli Drake's real what his intentions are with his mind games. We do know he has motives to get his hands on the 10 pounds of gold.
Yeah.
But what is his end game here? Is he using these guys for his dirty work?
Yeah, pretty much. That was my whole thing. After the first few times of seeing him get in the mix, but not necessarily be in the 6-man tag from the week before. That's what caught my attention. I was like, oh, this fool wants to stir the shit, but doesn't want to be in the shit. Mm-hmm. He's obviously trying to wear them all down so that way he could just pick the meat off of them once everything's done.
Yeah. But here's the interesting part. Near the end, Eli Drake tries to interfere, and then Mr. Anderson, Cole's buddy, decides to give him an ass whooping.
Oh, yeah.
But out of nowhere, Camille shows up and attacks him from behind. James Storm loses track of the ball. Mm-hmm. But it was kind of weird. Camille just shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I think Nick Aldis is that one person who is seeing, you're up to something, Eli. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. I didn't appreciate you stirring up the pot. Yeah. Try to put all this stuff into James Storm's head with Tim Storm. But whatever your motives is, I'm not going to tolerate. So he sends his insurance policy to ensure that Colt Cabana wins. Mm-hmm. Because there's, as much as he would like to face Colt Cabana, but he knows that Eli Drake is a much bigger threat than James Storm. I mean, James Storm does have the capability to beat him, but it's Eli Drake that he's more concerned about. So I think Nick Aldis is trying to tell Storm, don't trust every word Eli Drake is saying. So he's trying to tell everyone, don't trust his word, don't trust whatever he has to say. And we still don't know what his true intentions are. But if you're saying it's true that he's trying to wear down everybody and try to make the perfect strike to get the title, then that's how he's going to do it.
Most definitely.
Then we jump in with the last thing, a tag team match between the Dawsons.
Oh yes.
And Homicide and
Kingston. Yeah.
It was a great match, but of course we saw the wild cards out of nowhere. Basically, they're trying to wear down both sides.
Yeah.
But they forget there's only one team that will not tolerate their antics.
Homicide and Kingston, they ensured their number one contender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to be that team.
Yeah.
Because they don't see the wild card as that one team that should be in the same caliber as the Rock and Roll Express.
Right.
They have been tag team champions for the NWA for a long time. Mm. And of course, we saw while the wild card tried to interfere, Rock and Roll Express shows up, giving the helping hand.
Yeah.
Try to give Homicide and Kingston the fighting chance that they deserve. Mm-hmm. And of course, they gave their endorsement to them.
Oh, yeah.
And Kingston and Homicide embraces knowing that you got true legends here. Mm-hmm. Knowing that they know what the tag team's all about. Mm-hmm. So basically, they got their endorsement from true legends. All we got to do is wait and see when Kingston and Homicide will get their shots against the wild card for those titles. Mm. And of course, we will see the Rock and Roll Express by their sides, but the Dawsons are still that one force that is dominant that want those titles. So basically, we got wars and teams on all sides that want the tag team titles.
Right.
So we just got to see next week what's going to happen. And hopefully with the whole thing with Thunder Rosa, we get more interest with the storyline with her trying to take in Marty Bell and Eli Drake's mind games. So we'll let you know what happened next week on the next episode. So let's keep on moving with the show. A while back, we did a little discussion, if you recall.
Yeah.
We talked about Rush and his family having a bit of a trouble with Consejo Mundial. Mm-hmm. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm referring to, Rush and Dragon Lee were fired from Consejo Mundial. Rush gave his explanation about how things have changed since Paco Alonso, the guy who was running the promotion from the 80s all the way to his death this past July, has changed. Initially, what we were told, Paco Alonso's daughter, Sofia, was supposed to take over as the head of the company. And it didn't turn out that way. Now, there was still no information about what happened. Why all of a sudden Chavo Luther III took over? Well, that information has finally came out to the light. So here's what the true story is. If you all know Paco Alonso, he doesn't do interviews. And Sofia Alonso inherited that type of not behavior, but more of the habit of her father. Sofia Alonso made her presence known that she says she has big plans for CML. She says that she wants to make the women's division a top priority, which is something we have seen with many other promotions. But also she wants to give a much exposure to the younger and fresher wrestlers that they hire. Now, when this whole new plans has finally came out, it turns out that members of the Luther family, her family, didn't take it lightly. Somehow they were able to set up a meeting with some of the board members and vote her out. Which she did. Now, this is where it gets interesting. As we all know, we talked about Rush Dragon Lee getting fired. It turns out CMLL are dying.
Yeah.
Many wrestlers are not happy with the decisions that Chavo Luther III has been making.
For example?
Some wrestlers were falling out of favor.
Like?
Sangre Azteca was one of them, who is now currently with another promotion, not AAA.
What are the reasons?
Basically, here's the thing. Chavo Luther is nothing compared to Paco.
Okay.
If you guys want to know, let's go do a little family history.
Yeah.
If you all know, CML was known as Empresa Mexicana Lucha Libre, which stands for an acronym EMLL. Salvador Luther, the founding father, was more of the genius back in the day when he formed this promotion. And not to mention, he's the one who built Arena Mexico, which is the infamous location where they do a lot of the shows down in Mexico City. When Salvador Luther retired, he gave the position to his son, Chavo Luther II. His son does not have the technical genius as him. His other son did, Paco. So Paco was basically, like I said before, he was the hands-off type of person because he had people that do the different things. The booking, the matches, all of it. Chavo Luther III does not have that same caliber either. The only person that does is Sofia Alonso.
So what kind of decisions in the company has he been making that has been
really bad? Apparently, they shut the door down to a lot of the independent wrestlers that they hire to do many of their shows. Many wrestlers have been falling out of favor. Many of the veterans are getting tired. They're getting restless. Basically, their 86-year anniversary that they held about a month ago was a total disaster.
Oh, okay.
But here's the interesting news that came around. Chavo Luther III is asking Sofia, his own blood, to come back.
Yeah.
Now, this is what was been told. They don't want her to be head of the table. They want to put her as someone in charge of the programming or whatever the scenarios. But I feel like they just want to use her ideas to save the company. But here's the way I see it. I know Rush, Dragon Lee, everybody in the Munoz family have always been loyal to Paco. And they have displayed that to Sofia a lot. Same thing with L.A. Park and his sons. Many wrestlers will always find loyalty to Paco Alonso. And they display that to Sofia.
Right.
The problem I have, that if Chavo the third is going to continue with his antics, or try to take credit for something that's not his, then he's the one who should be stepping down, and Sofia Alonso should be in charge. But there's talk saying that they doubt that she will return. But I did talk about this before. She should start her own promotion, which is kind of simple, but you need the right people how to invest in it.
Oh, yeah.
invest in it, find the right wrestlers to book, all of that. Because I know she has the capability to do that because she inherited her father's genius. That's one of the key things that Chavo Luther does not have. You don't have the genius that Paco had.
Huh.
So, if I was Chavo Luther, I'd stand down and give the position to Sofia. But if he won't do that, then sorry, the company is dead right from the start you took over.
Is this an example of history repeating itself? Like, isn't this kind of similar to how AAA was made?
Yes. Now let's go back to that. Let's talk about that history. The reason all of this happened with AAA, it began with Antonio Peña, who used to work for them. He was also a wrestler too back in the day. Antonio Peña was the booker of CMLL back in the day, and he was the one who renamed the brand when it was back then EMLL at the time, and then they changed it to CMLL. Now, the reason Antonio Peña decided to leave, here's the thing, he also was a genius too. He was the brains behind the mini divisions. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, we're talking about the midgets, which is awesome to watch. So he was the brains behind it. Now, this is what Antonio Peña's vision was. He wanted to expose new wrestlers, but non-heavyweight wrestlers.
Ah, okay.
Now, another employee of that time in the company, named, I don't know his first name, but I know his last name is Herrera, decided to continue with the same old tradition with heavyweights. And Paco Alonso at the time, he sided with Herrera, and that's what led to Antonio Peña to leave. Because I feel this is what I feel like this is a problem with what happened back then with Antonio Peña, now with Sofia. It's like when you say that you want to do new things, it's more like a bad word. I mean, I don't find it like it's a bad thing.
Some people are like so closely tied to tradition that anything new kind of shakes them.
Exactly. But here's the thing with both Antonio Peña and Sofia. New thing can be a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I did like about Antonio Peña is he took one wrestler with him. And that person was Winners. Now, the story behind that with Winners, from what I told, they did something stupid with him. They booked him in a match on his birthday against his best friend, Super Calo. Loser takes off the mask, and that loser was Winner. I mean, to me, that was like really messed up of them to book him in the match on his birthday to lose a mask, which was dumb. But Antonio Peña was a genius. What he did, he gave him a new mask, and he became the biggest heel in AAA. If you guys haven't seen him, I'll set up a link of him. His name is Abismo Negro, which translates to Black Abyss. So I will set up a link on that guy so you guys can get to see who he is. Now, as for Sofia Alonso, when he brought up these new ideas, it seems the Luthor family will not tolerate the new things. But now they're starting to see maybe her ideas could be what could save the company. I mean, that's kind of like, how do I say, wishful thinking out of their part. Thinking by using her ideas you can save her. Like, you could have done something new on your own terms.
Right.
Instead of using someone else's ideas. But no, you guys don't have the brains. The only person right now is Sofia. But, like I said, there are those who are still like having that doubt that she will return. But if she doesn't and she decides to form a promotion, hands down, she is going to succeed. And she probably will make the women's division a top priority and help expose new wrestlers. And I do know, for a fact, Rush, Dragon Lee, and their dad, along with L.A. Park and his sons, will side with her.
Right.
And those who were loyal to her father will do the same thing too. Because the thing is this. If you have loyalty for Paco Alonso, then you go to the one person you pledge your allegiance after his death, and that's his daughter. So you guys tell us what you think. Do you believe that Sofia Alonso will return to CMLL, or she should form her own promotion?
Should do our own thing.
Yeah. So you tell me what you think. You leave a comment down below, and we will get back to you on that matter whenever we have time. So let's keep on moving with the show. We talked about Rush before.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about him on the whole thing with CML.
Yeah.
It's now been news that Rush and his brother, Dragon Lee, are going to appear at AAA.
Oh, snap.
They're not exclusive.
Mm.
Just to reassure everyone. Rush and Dragon are currently independent wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not exclusive. But they are scheduled to make appearances to AAA. And Dragon Lee is set to face Kenny Omega for the Mega Championship next month at Triple Mania Regia.
Mm.
So that's going to be an interesting match. What do you think?
I like it. I was mentioning this to you before. The idea of Dragon Lee versus Kenny Omega, that's going to be a big one right there. I normally, I hate to say this, but like, I feel like any match that Kenny Omega loses are his better matches. I feel like he performs at a higher level when he's getting someone over. The matches where he actually wins, I feel like I don't know, they're just not as good. That doesn't take away from like his abilities, because like he's still, to me, is like a top wrestler. But just based on from what I've seen, when the other guy goes over Kenny, Kenny makes other people look good. That's basically what I'm
Not to
saying.
mention,
Yeah.
he always makes sure that every match he does, he has people talk about them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people will talk about the matches he had with Okada.
Oh yeah.
You know, all 4 of them.
Oh yeah.
But now this is one match that people can talk about when it takes place.
Oh yeah.
You know, either if it's he wins or he loses.
Yeah.
But it will be an epic match. And I know there are those that say, what about Rush? Will he ever face him? Like, well, we could see that somewhere down the line. But I think they want to give his brother, Rush's brother, Dragon Lee, a shot. Because currently Rush is the ROH champion.
Mm-hmm.
But we just got to see how they're going to go with this. Because Rush is currently doing other things. You know, making appearances in other independent promotions. But Dragon Lee, I would say this is like his time to shine.
Oh yeah.
You know, the guy is like, what, 22 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And he's young, he's good at what he does, you know? Not to mention with his epic rivalry with Hiromu.
Oh yeah.
Is what makes him so good at what he does. So we just got to wait and see. So that match will take place next month. So pay attention to that match.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited to see this, but also I want to reassure all of you guys, today the 9th?
Something like that.
No, the 8th.
Yeah.
On November 10th, which is 2 days from now, or no, by the time I release this,
Yeah.
will be tomorrow, AAA will be at New York City, and if you want to catch it, you have to catch it on the El Rey Network.
Oh.
So pay attention to that. So that's going to be an interesting thing to watch with AAA.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll continue on. We'll keep on more following with Dragon Lee and Kenny Omega in the near future. So stay tuned for more. Stop. Now, this is a news that kind of we've been talking.
Mm-hmm.
Appears now there's a feud between Kenny Omega and New Japan.
Mm.
Apparently they're trying to forbid Kenny Omega from ever returning to Japan.
Hmm.
Reason behind this, Kenny has been showing up at the talking with people from DDT Pro Wrestling. Now, if you guys are asking why can't they build a relationship, well, it appears like there's still some unresolved issues between both sides.
Yeah.
Because if you all recall, Kenny lost to Tanahashi in the start of the year. He felt that New Japan kind of put him over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he went to AEW. But recently, he has been making talks with DDT Pro Wrestling. He signed Michael Nakazawa, an old friend of his from back in the day. And of course, if you guys are not aware about his history with DDT, that's where he started before going to New Japan. Before he was known as the Cleaner, before he was known as the Best Bout Machine. So, this is one of. I talked about this before. They should build AEW should build an alliance with DDT Pro Wrestling. And not to mention, Rio was also in that promotion before.
Yeah.
And this past weekend, Rio and Kenny had a match there versus Antonio Honda and a girl named Miyu.
Mm.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. Kenny asked Rio in her honest opinion, what does he thought about Miyu? She said she was great, that she's a great athlete, and Kenny said that he would like to have her at AEW. To me, I feel like they're scouting or trying to find a way to make a legit business partnership with DDT.
Oh yeah, that was the whole point of Kenny Omega's position in AEW, was to scout the Japanese talent.
But it appears that New Japan are trying to forbid him from doing that.
Well, I see that as a power play on New Japan's part, with not only, I wouldn't say, well, I'd say I would say the agenda that New Japan has with members of the Elite has a strong play in it, but I think it's just them securing their possible assets within Japan, like the way Bushiroad took Stardom from underneath WWE. Mm-hmm. That kind of put a stop to WWE's possible NXT in Japan. Mm-hmm. So I think that's just like there's probably not a what word am I looking for? Not necessarily a grudge with All Elite, but just them kind of circling their wagons for potential stars within their companies, instead of letting outside sources outsource them.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: if they're planning to work in partnerships, they're not trying to tell them to leave.
Right.
I mean, we do know that Rio and Hikaru Shida are full time with AEW,
mm-hmm.
So that doesn't mean that they're trying to steal their talent. That they already been scouted before.
Oh yeah, easily.
But there are those that they feel like they should bring them along.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know how long this is going to last between this feud between Kenny and New Japan, because I know that during the start of the G1 climax, Dave Meltzer asked Kota Ibushi during the press conference, how's the relationship between the two? And Kota kind of had an awkward moment on this one.
Mm.
I mean, I can't remember what he said, but it did sound kind of awkward for him. I mean, I feel sorry for Kota that he had to answer for this.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to know, we're going to reassure this to you guys, and you guys been probably saying, is AEW going to have a possible partnership with New Japan? Zero chances. It's never going to happen. Now, we're not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm saying there's still some unresolved issues.
Oh, yeah.
From not only with it doesn't go with All Elite Wrestling. It's mostly with Kenny and the Bucks.
Yeah.
Just those three. So basically, as long as the Bucks and Kenny are with AEW, then they won't have a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the scenario I see. So I hope you guys feel like, don't get your hopes up. Just remember, there's sort of disagreements from both sides when they were there.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon Cutler explained that to you before, when you went on your trip. But we'll never see that happen. But I did say they should build a partnership with DDT.
Oh, yeah.
But it appears New Japan are trying to prevent that. But it's not up to them to do that. That's DDT's choice.
That's true.
DDT better make a decision for themselves, because I know for a fact they would like to expose more.
Money talks.
Yeah, I mean, we got Pro Wrestling Noah now being well known here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Dragon Gate and Stardom too. But if I was DDT, I would put my foot down against New Japan and try to tell them, I don't get involved in your business, so don't get involved with ours.
I think it might be just my opinion, but I think Dragon's Gate and Noah should merge into one.
Well, we'll see how that goes. So we'll keep an update on Kenny and this rivalry with New Japan. Hopefully this could be resolved soon. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying impossible lines. I'm saying New Japan just backs off and just let them run their own business. So let's continue on. Nico, You know me when I talk about promotions that either you heard about or new promotions that have been formed, like just recently. Well, this new promotion I just found out, it turns out AEW wasn't the only promotion that started this year.
Right.
There is Nación Lucha Libre, which in translation, Nación means nation. This promotion was started by a former WWE, TNA, CMLL, and AAA wrestler or luchador, Alberto Del Rio, or as people like to call him, El Patron. Now, you're probably asking yourselves, did he really form a promotion?
Yeah.
Yes. But he didn't do it alone. He had help.
Yeah.
With Chavo Guerrero Jr. Now, you're probably asking yourselves, why did he form a promotion? Well, simple question. I know that he had issues with these promotions that I mentioned, with AAA, CML, WWE, and TNA. I mean, who could blame him? But there's no saying. If you want to do something right, you do it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Alberto did. He formed his own promotion. Now, when he had his first show already set, he had made some modifications because certain wrestlers were exclusive to AAA.
Right.
These wrestlers I'm referring to are the Lucha Brothers, Puma King, Daga, and Black Taurus. I can go on as much as I want.
Wait, how are the Lucha Brothers exclusive if they're in AEW?
They're not exclusive to AEW.
No, you said they were exclusive to AAA.
Yeah, but Lucha Brothers are not exclusive to AEW from what I understand on their side.
No, that's not the question. The question is, like, how are you exclusive to AAA if you're also on AEW?
Well, from what I understand, what the Lucha Brothers, that they never did sign like more of an exclusive setting with them, but I don't know exactly.
So
like
they're exclusive, but not really.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, it's a little twisted thing on their part. Yeah. But anyway, they did had many events. You can catch many of their events that they held on YouTube. Same thing with NWA Power and MLW. It's all in Spanish, and if you guys don't understand it, don't worry. Just enjoy the in-ring action.
Yeah. Or you put I believe you could put a closed caption on it.
Yeah. So I will set up a link on one of the matches. Now, the start of the show, it happens where apparently Alberto Rio is being forced to step down by Carlito and El Mesias. Reason is these two guys are Puerto Ricans, believing that the Puerto Ricans are the most dominant luchadors in the face of the earth. Bullshit. Basically, you look at Alberto Del Rio as the pride of Mexico, who's fighting for his country. But guess who made appearances throughout these entire shows? His dad, Dos Caras himself, and his brother, Hijo de Dos Caras, is also part of that promotion. And of course, we have an original Ingobernable, not from Japan, the Mexico version that sided with Rush.
Yes,
La Máscara is also part of that promotion. So there's many wrestlers in there. Like they even LA Park makes his appearances there too, along with his sons. So basically, the thing is like, from what I'm hearing, Nación Lucha Libre has a TV deal with another network down in Mexico. So basically, all AAA wrestlers cannot be on this promotion, even if some of them are independent or whatever whatever contract they sign with them. I don't know how many networks are down there. There's only two I know of: Telemundo and Univision. So I don't have the Mexican networks down there, but I do follow it on YouTube. Now you're probably asking, are there championships? Yes. No, not yet, but there are talk. You see, if you guys. There was an exclusive.
Brand new.
There is an exclusive that Alberto Del Rio talked about. He was interviewed, asked him, are there going to be championships? He said, yes. But, if you guys should know, both AAA and CL has multiple championships. You can barely keep up.
They got more championships than New Japan does?
Yeah.
Damn, I thought New Japan had too many belts.
Well, Mexico beats all of them.
That's crazy.
Thing is, they have like more like single competitors like cruiserweight, middleweight, heavyweight. I can barely keep up with all. There's like the trios championship, the mixed tag team championships, women's tag team, other championships belong to NWA that they own.
That's true. That's true.
And that's one of those things that Alberto Del Rio kind of gets irritated. So he did say there will be a World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
There will be a Cruiserweight, a Tag Team, and a Women's Championship. Just 4 basic championships.
Yeah.
Which is nothing wrong with it. Because we feel like it's, just simple. Because you can keep up whatever titles any promotion has.
Oh, yeah.
I know New Japan has like tons. We got heavyweight, junior heavyweight, heavyweight tag team, junior heavyweight, U.S., IC, never open weight, the 6-man never open weight. That's like 8 championships that you have to keep up with.
Yeah.
But now with Nacion, you just need only 4.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
Yeah, like my thing about like the cruiserweight championship, depending on like, I feel like the cruiserweight thing, depending on what your promotion is going for, it could be interchangeable with well, obviously not a U.S. but like for say a North American championship or a South American championship, or it could be like a television title, like the TV title. That's basically a mid-card championship. Could be interchangeable, like with cruiserweight or junior heavyweight. Women's, obviously. Tag. I see tag team would be better to go like the ROH or a AEW route. Just have a tag team division, not necessarily have a junior heavyweight. But yeah, 4 at the most.
Yeah. Alberto did say that he would like to expand his promotion, not only throughout Mexico, but also around the world.
Yeah,
easily. Know, to me, I feel like he should try to find a promotion that's willing to partner with him. Because, let's see, I know MLW is partnered with The Crash.
Yeah.
AEW with AAA. Ring of Honor with CML. I don't know how they would feel with NWA.
Oh, Ring of Honor, CML, and New Japan. Those 3 there.
Yeah.
And loosely Impact, not...
well, Impact does have a relationship with AAA, but not like what AEW is doing with them.
Right.
And I know that Impact has a relationship with Pro Wrestling Noah. So that's from what I understand on that part. But I know he's working little by little. Like, he has set out the plans, but it's the timing to execute them.
Stardom has a very interesting title that no other promotion has, where it's the Gaijin championship. Well, they don't call it that, but it's a championship that's defended by foreigners, basically. And like, I actually have found that very interesting. I don't know who's the current champion of there.
We'll look it up. You know, some other time on this one.
Yeah.
But I really like this promotion. It's pretty interesting, different from other promotions in Mexico.
Yeah.
That I've seen, with AAA, CML, and The Crash. So basically, there's other promotions that I follow, but these are mostly like the major ones.
Right.
There are other promotions, like more like independent, that you can watch. There's one I've been watching called Chaos, Lucha Libre. There's one I've seen called the IW something, WRG or something like that. Yeah. Well, there's plenty of independent promotions down there, but I can barely keep up with most of them.
Right.
Yeah. So, so that is it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. So you guys tell us what your initial thoughts about the NXT invasion. If you think it was dumb after what Vince did at leaving his crew while the ship was sinking at Saudi Arabia. If you like what happened at this week's Wednesday Night War, what your initial thoughts for New Japan?
I also misspoke last episode. I called Anthony Idol Austin Idol. These are 2 entirely different people.
Yeah. So, and of course, if you think Sophia Alonso should go back or former promotion. So, leave a comment down below. Click the subscribe, click like, and we'll get back to you guys soon. On behalf of Deleted Wrestler Zone, I'm J-Rod.
Nico.
I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.